We're getting set up right now. About to go live. So we are going to be answering questions, as always, in the Black Belt group, which is for the full course.
So we are going to be answering.
It is good to see everyone. Give me 1 second to get everything set up. It's always fun streaming to multiple groups and YouTube simultaneously. So I need just another second to get it set up. And then we will be good to go. So I hope everyone enjoyed that little game we played earlier. I thought it would be fun to kind of give away a really great product that I found. Just kind of stumbled upon it. You know, the niche itself is amazing, and we did finally have a winner. It took almost 3,000 comments to find the answer to the little riddle that we played. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. It was definitely fun for us to kind of watch it all unfold. So I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we do finally have a winner, and he is okay with me sharing who he is, so hopefully don't pester him too much about what the product is. But his name is Gabe. He is totally deserving of this prize. This product is going to be very successful for him, I'm sure, and it also actually happened to be the very first day that he did launch his first product. So go out there and buy some lottery tickets, Gabe. I'm super pumped for you. I think this product is going to kill it for you. I'm sure that the product that you picked from the guidance that we learned in the course is going to be amazing as well. So I hope that you kill it. So I'm going to share this onto YouTube, and we are officially going to get started. So some people are starting to show up now, asking questions on the official Kevin David page. If you guys are watching from the official Kevin David page, please do come join the Black Belt group if you guys are members of the full course. That's where I like to answer questions, just so I can prioritize everyone from the full course. So if you guys are just joining, we had a fun little game today where we gave away a home run product that I'm quite sure is going to be a 10,000 profit per month or more product. We gave it away to a very deserving member of the course. His name is Gabe. I'm not going to tell his last name unless he wants me to, because I don't want him to get like a million messages asking what the. So we are going to start answering questions. So head over to the Black Belt group, guys. If you are asking questions from the official Kevin David page, it's just a little bit easier for me to make sure that I'm answering all of you guys' questions in the right spot. So, woohoo, Gabe, woo! Good game. What up, Gabe? Yay for Gabe. Everybody's feeling you, Gabe. You're famous right now, baby. I'm super happy for you too, and it comes on the same day that you launch your very first product. So how exciting is that? All right, we're officially now live on YouTube, and we are officially live on the Black Belt group. So let's get some questions going, guys. You left thousands of members sleepless. Kevin, will you be coming out with a drop shipping or a Facebook advertising course? So a lot of people have been asking me about that. I know there's a lot of kind of jumbled courses out there, and I've seen a lot of them. I've taken a few of them just to see what's out there. There's really not a lot of great information, and it's really not organized in a good way. And so I am officially starting to create a Shopify / dropshipping course, and it's going to be the absolute best. I promise you guys it is. It's not going to be any high-level BS. It's going to be down in the trenches, 100% practical, implement right now stuff that's going to be making people money, and it's going to be, it's going to be huge for a lot of people that might not be able to afford, the kind of the upfront capital investment that Amazon FBA does require, right? They're both amazing business models, but Shopify and dropshipping has a little bit lower of a barrier to entry, and so I hope that it's going to be good for some people who, may not have the capital that is kind of required up front for Amazon FBA. So yes, to answer your question, Sean, we are coming out with a Shopify course and with a Facebook course potentially to follow, but we're going to focus on one thing at a time. So I'm kind of going to go into recluse mode again and start that, just because there's so much BS out there. There's so many gurus that are just wasting people's money with all these high-level bullshit courses for Shopify and for everything. And so I wanted to kind of do what I did in the Amazon scene, right? There was a ton of people before me who were doing courses and things like that, but we came in, we created the absolute best product, and now we have a ton of students who are absolutely killing it, making thousands or more dollars per day. And so we're going to do the exact same thing for Shopify, guys. But all right, how do you go about deciding whether or not a bundle will work? I know how to find something to bundle with, but what if no one else is bundling these two things, good or bad? So it could be good or bad, John. So this is a good question. The answer to this question is, you can tell a lot about whether or not a bundle will work by doing a few things. You want to see whether or not both items are independently selling, right? So if both items are independently selling, you can tell a lot about the demand in general, right? So if there's demand in general for each independent product, then you can be quite sure that, at least they're going to sell independently. What you want to look for when you're actually going to bundle is you want to make sure that, the frequently bought together section has both of your items, right? So you want to make sure that it makes sense. So just because a basketball and a garlic press both independently sell well does not necessarily, or certainly in this case, does not mean that it would sell well as a bundle. So you want to look down, right? Because Amazon gives you a ton of information here. They're telling you, yes, frequently bought together is, a basketball and a basketball pump. And then you're taking a look at the listings right on page 1. You're seeing, a basketball pump is selling, a basketball is selling. We see them frequently bought together. So maybe we could actually go about bundling these two things, since they're very, horizontally closely related. They're each independently selling well, and we see them most importantly in the frequently bought together section. John, hey Kevin, do you take posters everywhere you go? No, I actually don't, John, but that's a good idea. Maybe I should pack some. So if you're in the course, you know that I'm heading out to Australia and New Zealand and Fiji on November 2nd. So I'm going to be recording from, hostels and hotels and wherever, I might be at the time. So I might not have my posters then, John, but I might pack some just for you, actually. Love your work, man. Oh, thank you, Edwards. I appreciate that so much. Seriously, I work extremely hard to try to give you guys the best products, give you the best possible training so you can have the absolutely best possible chance of success. All right. So I see a ton of people asking questions all over the place, trying to organize them into the Black Belt group, but it's kind of hopeless, so maybe I'll just answer them all over the place as well. All right, so good luck to your inbox, Gabe. I hope no one bothers poor Gabe. Yeah, well, a lot of people don't know Gabe's last name, so we'll do that for now. Thanks for being such a valuable coach, Kevin. Would you explain how to get away with launching products without getting samples? Sure. So this is a good question, right? Because I've answered this before, but it's important to note a few things, right? So if I've said in the past that you don't always require samples, and I stand by that, but everyone, listen to me. you don't want to skip out on samples. In about probably 90% of the time, you do want samples, right? For very simple products that have no moving parts, that have no design improvements, that have no electrical portions, right? Those are the products that you can skip out on a sample with. And even then, I say, hey, give me an HD photo, a series of photos, a video. Like I want to see you, maybe a drop test. And there's ways that you can kind of get around a sample if you absolutely can't, maybe afford it, or you can't wait. Maybe you're really rushing to launch by Q4. So I never recommend skipping out on samples. 99% of the time it is worth it to get it. But sometimes you can kind of make an exception, get like a very detailed video. Maybe you show them dropping it, maybe you show them putting it under hot water, whatever the product is, right? Whatever you're looking for, whatever you'd be testing in an inspection, you want to put that product through the ropes. And that's the only way I would ever recommend, if you are going to choose not getting a sample, that is what I'd recommend. Is it better to launch 5 to 6 products at 100 units or 2 to 3 products at 250 units each? I have many products, but now I'm starting to worry about giveaways and running out of inventory before making organic sales. So this is a good question. So let's take a step back here, Santino, and let's say, what we want to consider here is that most factories based out of China will not even give you the time of day if you have a 100 unit order. Sometimes, most of the time, they won't even make it, right? They're going to ignore you. They're not going to, satisfy a 100 unit order for their MOQ. What I've done in the past, and what I continue to do actually, is I use ThomasNet, right? If you're going to manufacture in the US, if you're looking at such small quantities, a good way to do that is just manufacturing it in the US, right? And yes, it is on a product cost basis going to be slightly more expensive, but you're also going to save a ton on shipping. And so if you're going to test the demand of products, which I always recommend people do, right? Because if you order 100 and you sell out in 7 days, it's much easier to part with, 3,000, 4,000, whatever amount it costs, to create that 500,000 unit order than it was kind of just going in like technically blind, right? And so we do a lot of due diligence that we teach in the course, how to feel very comfortable, that it's not like a blind investment investing in 500 or 1,000 products, but still as like a new seller, it's just much more difficult to, invest into 500 or 1,000 units without actually seeing and feeling those sales. Right? And so I always recommend people to test the waters. If you can work it out to get 6 different products with 100 units each, Santino, that's the best possible scenario, right? A lot of people, it's difficult to do that sometimes, especially coming out of China, just because they won't make such small orders. But a cool little hack that I use often actually is just using the USA, right, ThomasNet, because they're much more willing to make smaller orders. Have you ever found it cheaper to get your freight forwarder to deliver to a U.S. port and then arrange a carrier with super low Amazon rates to take your stuff the rest of the way to the Amazon FBA warehouse? So yes, John, I have actually. So when I first started, I was very concerned about this, right? Because Amazon makes it very enticing sounding on the shipping plan. They say ultra steeply discounted or ultra discounted Amazon FBA ground rates, right, which you can take advantage of inside of the USA. And so I have in the past before, right, shipped from China to my freight forwarder's warehouse where I had it aggregated, right, palletized, everything kind of organized and readied for Amazon shipping. And then I created a second shipping plan from my actual freight forwarding warehouse to the Amazon FBA warehouse at the steeply discounted rates. What I found though, and I'll say immediately, I don't do that anymore. I just ship directly from China to my to the Amazon FBA warehouse now, because I've found that if you know how to manipulate which warehouse you're actually being given in your shipping plan, which there are little hacks to do that, then you can pretty much guarantee that your FBA warehouse is very close to the port that you're going to be shipping to, which means that the ground transportation time is short enough that you don't necessarily need to go through those extra logistics to save money, because you're really only shipping it a very short distance once you actually land in the USA. All right. Okay, so the next question is, if Camel doesn't have my product, like it says Amazon doesn't provide data, ditch the product or just do all your other due diligence. Yeah, Megan, this is important to note, right? So we talk about all the time the 6 steps of product research. So the 6 steps of product research are a way that we've discussed and proven to be a very successful indicator of what a successful product is going to be. If you see a positive trending Google Trends that it's not seasonal, if you see solid stuff on Camel, right? If you see iTrack, proven sales, if you see every one of the 6 steps, it takes a lot of the risk out of investing into a product up front. So the question is, if Camel doesn't have any sales rank data, do you ditch the product or do you continue on? And the answer to that is, unfortunately, it depends. So I would never completely discount a product just because Camel does not have enough data to display a sales chart. So if you see 5 absolutely out of the park metrics on the other 5 of the 6 steps of product research, then you can, first of all, you can send it to me and we can discuss it. But second of all, you don't always need 100% home run on all 6 fronts, because sometimes, with brand new trending products, like when I first found the fidgets almost 7 months ago now, when I made that video on YouTube, there was no historical data about fidgets because fidgets were brand new. So if I hadn't of invested based on the other factors and my gut feeling and the signs of the trend, with all those sales with so few reviews and the other different little kind of nuances of product research, then I never would have invested in fidgets, and I never would have made however much money I made from that trend. So don't discount just because camel data is not there, but do your due diligence, be careful, and just follow the criteria, and you're going to be just fine. Can you predict sales volume from camel? I'm iTrack 999ing 10 products, and there's only 4 that don't have a purchase limit. Okay, so the top item has a sales rank of 264, and the next highest one has a rank of 644. Can I assume that the sales per day are near the first one? Okay, so Peter, this is a few-part question. So let's break this down. Let's break this down methodically. So you're tracking 10 products. Only 4 of those 10 products can you actually see the true sales data using the iTrack 999 trick. So from those, right, you can extrapolate kind of what's going on here. So let's say that the top 10 products, the number 6 through number 10, you can track those sales, and the average of those 4 is 10 sales per day, right? And so you can assume that Amazon is organizing that page 1 over time, right? Not necessarily in one single day, but over time, they're organizing that page 1 based off sales velocity and sustained sales, right? As we teach during the product launch module. So if you can prove over time that the 6 above the 4 you can track are selling 10 per day, right? You can make the assumption that all of those above it are doing the same or better, right? And so even if they do put max order quantity limits, which I do recommend to all my students, you can make the assumption, right? Even if they do have those max order quantities and you can't see their true volume, you can make the assumption that that these people are doing okay too. And so and just like the first part of your question, what I like to do here to kind of complement that is using the sales rank chart for camel. So run it for all 10, and if you're seeing sustained high BSR for those 10, then again, you can feel even more comfortable about that. For bundling retail arbitrage items, 2 items are branded with a single popular name brand, which I would want to include as a keyword, but the 3rd item is a bundle is generic. Can this be bundled under the popular brand name if you just add your own UPC to the 3rd, or must it be private labeled? Note these items will be bundled to create a popular do-it-yourself craft. All right, so 2 items are branded with a single popular brand name. The 3rd item in the bundle is generic. Can this be bundled under the popular brand name if you add your own piece? Yeah, so if you create a brand new bundle, right? So there's 2 products that exist as its own independent thing, and then you add a 3rd generic product that is not necessarily included in that product to begin with. So now you have 3, right? So you have a unique offering. What you want to make sure here is if you're targeting it from a brand perspective and a keyword and a PPC perspective, that popular brand name, as you mentioned, is not trademarked. So if it's not trademarked and it's not protected, then it's open season, right? If you add a 3rd product, that is a unique product. So what I would do in that case is, if there's sustained demand there, is I would sell that as private label, right? So if there's no trademark there, I would add in my own generic, right? I would look at the negative reviews for that 2-product popular bundle, right? I would see if there's any negatives. Maybe there's a design flaw I could improve on. Maybe it's too small. Maybe it's too breakable. Maybe it wears in the dishwasher, or whatever it is, right? I don't know what the product is, but I would look at the negative reviews and I would try to increase the value and the design of that 2-product bundle, and then I'd add in that 3rd generic to create a unique value proposition. Any update on the Mexico trip? So I haven't actually announced this to YouTube or the larger group yet, but yes, we have, excuse me, we have finalized a date for the first meetup, which so we are calling it NinjaCon. It's going to be absolutely incredible, right? We are going to be bringing some very, very fun speakers who are incredibly successful. We're not only going to be focusing on Amazon, we are going to be bringing you the absolute best, most new, brand new, most immediate value strategies, hacks, and tips related to Amazon FBA. But we are also going to be talking about Shopify dropshipping. We're going to talk about Facebook ads. We're going to talk about ClickFunnels. We're going to talk about new and exciting trending ways to diversify your income, away from just Amazon or just one thing or the other, right? So it's going to be incredible. We're going to have a ton of amazing people speaking, right? We're going to have a super fun overall party and networking also at night, right? Because we're going to be in Puerto Vallarta. It's going to be over Super Bowl weekend. So it's going to be February 2nd through 4th in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We got an amazing group rate. Thank you so much to Chris in our Black Belt group for negotiating the heck out of this 4-star hotel. So we're going to, for about $120 a night, we're going to be getting a 4-star hotel, ocean club view rooms, unlimited food, and unlimited alcohol for $120 a night. So it's going to be incredibly, enriching. It's going to be super fun to learn all of this brand new Amazon stuff. We're going to diversify and talk about a bunch of different revenue streams. And so that is kind of the update for now. We have not officially released any more details. We're going to release kind of the first batch of tickets to the full course students. And if we still have any left, then we're going to release the rest of the tickets to NinjaCon, to everyone else after that. So hopefully we have some left. But if it's all students, then I wouldn't be too upset. Yeah, so that's the update on Mexico. Okay, are you selling any products personally that require 0 PPC? So 0 PPC is pretty unique, John. So I would argue that 0 PPC realistically only exists in the sexual category, right? So 0 PPC, I would never recommend it because PPC does a lot more than just get you the kind of front-facing sales. So let's say you get a sale on PPC for 30% ACoS, right? So you have a 50% margin. It took you 30% of that 50% profit margin to sell it, so you're netting that 20%, right? So somebody who might be a little bit more new at Amazon might think, okay, so we only made 20% profit instead of 50 if we had gotten an organic sale. But what that person might not realize is there's a huge amount of indirect benefit from PPC sales. So let's say you get a PPC sale, for a long tail key phrase that you never ever would have ranked for before that sale. So maybe you sell a garlic press and you use our PPC module and our PPC strategy to advertise for all of the long tails, which are the cheapest and best ways to get sales using PPC. So maybe you get, somebody types in, stainless steel jumbo garlic press for kids, right? So it's like a six word PPC string that you never in a million years would have ranked for unless you were advertising for it on PPC. Somebody sees your ad, click it, buy. All of a sudden you rank for all of those words in that long tail phrase, and you're indexing for more words, right? Organically, you're showing for more search phrases. All of a sudden you're getting all of these organic benefits, and you're getting all of this keyword rank and all of these BSR boosts just because of PPC, which is why I never turn off my PPC. All I do is continue to iterate, continue to refine, and continue to add more long tail key phrases. All right, so hey Kevin, love your Q&As. Just a question about the course. Is there any way to make it more mobile friendly? I would love to access the course with my phone, but it constantly refreshes and I'm unable to play the modules. Yeah, Irma, I will definitely check into that. I've heard that from one other person. So I run all of my membership stuff through ClickFunnels. I'm a huge fan of ClickFunnels. If you guys watch my YouTube stuff, then you know that I have an incredible amount of faith in Russell Brunson and Todd Dickerson and their team. They actually flew me out there for the ClickFunnels influencer event where I got to meet Gary Vaynerchuk, and it was a ton of fun. And so I will personally follow up with one of their technical leads to make sure that I'm personally doing everything I can to make it, the course as mobile friendly as possible. If I have to pay more to get, a dedicated server or whatever it is, if it's possible, Irma, I will figure it out. I promise you that. Have you tried the viral launch market intelligence tool, Edwards? Yeah, so I actually have. It has one cool feature that I like that Jungle Scout does not currently have. And so I've talked to Greg about this. And so what it does is it gives you an estimated amount of giveaways to get to page 1 for certain products, which is cool, right? And so you can calculate this yourself. Excuse me. You can calculate this yourself, and it's not that hard to do, but market intelligence does it for you, and it does it for you automatically. So maybe it says, you're going to have to give away 10 per day for 5 days to get to page 1 for this specific product. So I don't know how accurate it is, but that's really the only advantage that market intelligence has over Jungle Scout. Like I told you guys, if you guys do follow any of my stuff, Jungle Scout by far is, the most comprehensive database of products. It has the most accurate data, right? They have an entire dedicated full staff, run by Greg Mercer, who's one of the smartest guys in the Amazon game. So, I mean, I would never go against Jungle Scout, but that is one cool part of market intelligence. How does one go about private labeling a high-quality topical cream or supplement? How do I know it will do everything it's supposed to and isn't dangerous? So this is a good question, Debjeet. So first of all, I want to kind of make a preamble that says topical creams is one of the categories that Amazon has gated by default. And they do this specifically for the reason that you just asked, right? So they don't want just anyone to be able to release a topical cream, right? Because you could just put like, Jergens lotion in it and say it's like a miracle solution for your face, right? So what they do is they create this, barrier to entry for people. I think it's a $5,000 one-time fee, or that's what it was last time I checked personally, which kind of, keeps out a lot of the maybe faker or, less experienced sellers. And so the answer to this, and to answer your second question, how do you know it's going to do everything it's supposed to? So you do your proper due diligence on factories, right? So you want to see who their clients are, how long they've been in business, right? Their product line, and you can tell a lot about a factory or someone by, what their history is. Maybe they supply like Olay or one of the bigger kind of players in the game. And again, this is definitely a product that you'd want to get a sample for and test for yourself, right? And so those are some of the ways that you can kind of tell that it's not going to be dangerous. It's going to do what it's supposed to. And then again, just to be clear and reiterate, topical cream is a gated category, and they do have that $5,000 fee to keep out some of the less serious sellers. How long will it take to rank to the first page of my main keyword by doing giveaways? So the answer to this question, Nate, we've talked about this a few times, right? We go over this very in detail in Module 4, and so it depends on your product. So how you do this is, let's say there's 10 people on page 1. I track all 10 for 7 days, right? You do an average, person in position 1 selling 10, 2 is selling 15. For all 10, you say, okay, the average is 12 per day. And so what I would do is I would run targeted keyword giveaways, which we talk about in depth, right? I would run targeted keyword giveaways for 7 days, which generally is the amount of time that it takes to outrank for a specific keyword with that sustained sales velocity, which is the most important metric for rank. We do it for 7 days with a targeted keyword giveaway, and we give away 1 or 2 more units than everyone on page 1, the average, is doing for that 7 days. So if everyone on page 1, the average is 12, I would give away 14 units per day for 7 days. Have you ever tried to launch a product twice? For example, a product you launched that made it to the first page, but the organic sales slowed and stopped shortly after, so now you're back on page 3. Any advice? Do another launch. So this is a very important question, Carrie. The answer to this is yes, absolutely I have. There's all types of little stuff that can happen, like Amazon, accidentally disindexes you, or maybe you stocked out, or maybe you had your listing suspended, or all types of things that kind of require that relaunch. And so there's a lot of important variables to consider. So you can't do a product launch and a giveaway if you have 0 sales, right? You don't want to do a product launch or giveaway to get to page 1 if you have 0 reviews. You don't want to do a giveaway if you have no PPC campaign set up. So you kind of have to get the infrastructure set up to sustain that lead once you're there. So if you have a fully optimized listing, right, beautiful copy, amazing images that you've split tested, right, you've split tested the title, you've optimized the back-end keywords, how we talk about in the course with the 250 character limit, right? You have PPC campaigns set up for manual, for automatic, you have low bid campaigns, you have bid plus set up. If you have all of the things we talk about and you have at least 5 to 10 reviews, you should be getting organic sales. So if you're not getting organic sales and you do have all of those things, Carrie, then that is the time that you want to start thinking to yourself, okay, is my product not of the same value as the other people on page 1. What could I do to improve? Maybe it's a product that I drop and focus on something else, right? But if you have all of those things that we just discussed in place, you should be getting organic sales and you should be able to sustain that spot on page 1. In one of your videos, you say some people don't like getting into industrial and scientific. Why is that? So industrial and scientific is not necessarily bad. It just includes a lot of like glass products like beakers and a lot of electronic products like, thermometers and things like that. And so sometimes, some people say to stay away from breakable stuff. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a huge fan of people, taking what everyone says, sucking it in, deciding, okay, that makes sense to me, but I think I could probably make the packaging a little bit better to make it not broken, or I think I might be able to, make a little improvement here to make, it not be returned as often as an electronic product. And so take what all of the gurus and all of the coaches and what everyone who's producing content is saying, and then twist it, add your own personal experience, right? Decide what you can improve, right? Because the point isn't to just copy and listen word for word to what I'm saying or to what anyone's saying. It's to, listen to all of the content out there, decide what makes sense to you, and then use your personal experience and expertise to kind of create your own unique value and, proposition where you're going to be able to add value to that product or niche. Hey Kev, when using Facebook ads to bring traffic to your listing, do you only use your Amazon affiliate URL? Since Amazon does the timestamp stuff, would you be able to just put your normal listing link as the website to drive traffic to? So, so this is a good question, Daniel, and you're asking the question, and I think it's important that you understand why we actually use the Amazon affiliate URL, right? So it's not actually about the QID, it's not about the Unix timestamp. What it is about is being able to calculate ROI. And so let's think about this for a second, right? So why we use the affiliate link, Daniel, is because when I make a Facebook ad directly to an Amazon listing, right? I don't have access to the HTML of Amazon. I wish I did. I wish I owned Amazon, but I don't, right? So I can't put my pixel. I can't tell if that person purchased, right? So let's say I run a Facebook ad to my garlic press. I get 10 people who click on my Facebook ad. I pay $1 a click, so I spent $10 to get 10 people to my Amazon listing. But at the same time, I'm getting organic sales, I'm getting PPC sales, I'm getting other sales, so I don't know if those 10 people that I paid to come to my listing from Facebook actually purchased, right? And so I think you probably understand why we use it now. We can talk about that more. It is a more advanced topic that I like to share only with my students, but it's the best possible way to actually calculate your ROI of externally driven advertising traffic, which is super important because Amazon gives you a huge boost for bringing people outside of Amazon into Amazon, because Amazon makes more money if we get more people from Facebook or Google or other different websites onto the Amazon platform. Would you/do you include personal inserts within your product packaging? If so, what would you include on it? Thank you note. So this is a great question, Britt. I've dabbled in this before, and this is kind of a gray area in the terms of service, right? So we want to be careful here because Amazon really doesn't like it when you take people away from their website or you collect emails. And so if you get a disgruntled customer and you're asking for people's email or, hey, sign up to our list or do this or that, right? Amazon's terms of service are very complex, and it's sometimes an area that people don't want to risk. I've never been risk averse, as many of you probably know, and so I've tested all different types of inserts. Right? There's very complex inserts they're literally like pieces of paper that are actually USB sticks. That when you put the USB paper stick into your computer, it runs a script and auto-populates your web browser with your email sign-up sheet or the warranty or the top 10 uses of your garlic press or whatever. So I've tested all of that. I've never seen a significant enough boost from it to emphasize it enough and to play with fire with Amazon's terms of service and to go about all the logistics of actually including thank you notes. So I don't do that. I focus more of my effort on the email automation and the follow-ups, just making them funny, very personable, right? Getting people to actually respond to them, which is super important. And so I personally don't mess around with physical inserts that much anymore. I just focus more on the email campaigns. Hi Kevin, if I have multiple unrelated products on one seller account and decide later on to niche down on some, is it possible to transfer a product listing and the inventory to a second seller account so I can sell only the niche related products? This is a very advanced and important question, Tatiana. So I personally have experience with this. We wanted to take, so one of my business partner and I wanted to take a product that was from his original independent account and put it into our shared account. Okay, and so what we did was we let it stock out and sell out in his personal account, and then we switched the labels of all of that same product to our new FN SKU in our new account, right? So the original listing existed on his first account, but now all of our products and the product listing and everything was in a second shared account. So essentially, we were the only hijacker on his original listing. The problem with this is that Amazon, there was a technical error that was preventing us, no matter what we tried, to index and rank for keywords for whatever reason. And I have no explanation for this. I'm not going to pretend I do. We could not get it ranked and we couldn't get indexed. So we actually had to ship out all of those products, create a brand new listing, right? Not use the same listing. We had to create a brand new listing for it in our shared account, ship them back in with a third FN SKU, and then it worked. So don't try to outsmart Amazon because they just don't have the back-end algorithmic coding to keep up with that. If you're going to do it, ship your products out of one account, relabel them, create a brand new listing in your second account, right, and then ship them in. That's the best way to do it. I'm relying on Jungle Scout data and viral launch for sales. I couldn't get 999 method on the product. I got 5 stars on my product. Do you think this is a good method to rely on? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Edwards. Could you clarify down below, and I'll keep answering questions, and I'll answer yours once you re-comment. Is it a no-go entering Q4 because I just got the course today? So to do product research and learn everything else, is that too little time to order and launch a product? Well, first of all, welcome, Anthony. I'm glad you decided to join the Ninja fam. The answer to this is what date is it? 27th. So it's September 27th. So realistically, you'd want to be in stock by November 15th. And so I did come out and I created a video in the course on, kind of the timeline for Q4 and what's comfortable, because it does take a little bit longer to process inventory as the holidays approach, because everyone's trying to get their final stuff in. And so is it too late? It might, honestly, to be honest, right? A lot of gurus or whatever might tell you, no, you can always do it. It may be approaching too late to get in for Q4 now. If you do a very calculated product research with a very succinct and methodical flow with your supplier, and you get a very preferable manufacturer lead time, and you ship by air, is it possible? Absolutely. But you never want to be rushing in these types of investments that are going to be very important for your future financial situation and your affinity to actually continue on with Amazon FBA. All right. Any news on and if and when a lockout will take place regarding Q4 this year, and whether it will be across the board or limited to certain categories? Yeah. So Michelle, I did make an announcement in the student course. You may have missed it. I'm 99.9% sure now that Amazon is only going to have a Q4 lockout for the toys and games category. So it's not going to be any other categories, right? It's not going to be how it was last year. So unless you're planning to sell exclusively in the toys and games category, you're going to be good to go. So I hope that helps. For Q4 and holiday times, do you alter your keywords or title temporarily to reflect the holiday? For example, Christmas gift or great for Mother's Day, etc., etc. Yeah, absolutely, Britt. No question. So I do that, every year, because one of my accounts is primarily a gift account, and so every year for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, all of the different holidays that we're targeting, we alter, not only our titles, not only our first bullet point in capitals, we also alter the back-end keywords, and most importantly, right, we create holiday-specific PPC campaigns. And so when we create holiday-specific PPC campaigns, and you have to be careful here because you don't want to put Christmas gift as your keyword, because people don't know what they're searching for. They're gonna click all through all different types of ads, and it's going to be expensive. You want to put, garlic press jumbo stainless steel Christmas gift, or obviously that's not a good example, but you want to be more specific with your holiday niched specific PPC campaign keywords. But yeah, absolutely, to answer your question, and that's a great question. So many problems going on with shipping. Now the freight forwarder says the entire packaging is wrong. At what point will things be more clear and a smooth process? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Zahira. So, I tried to make it as clear as possible in the shipping module, but sometimes, things can go wrong. As long as you're getting your made in China on there, if you are shipping from China, as long as you're getting your, your FN SKU printed, and, you're getting all of your different product boxes, or if you have gift boxes into cartons, and if you have to do pallets, right, which we do walk through in the shipping, creating a shipping plan portion of the shipping module, then you should be good to go. So you can message me privately if you have specific problems that maybe I could help with. But shipping is one of the more complicated sections of Amazon FBA, which is why I share my world-class, extremely professional, really high quality, extremely cheap freight forwarders with all of my students, and that is going to be a huge help for you, because they know exactly how to handle Amazon shipments, and they're going to do it at a fraction of the cost of what an American freight forwarder would ship the exact same stuff for. When purchasing a fellow Ninja's product to help with excuse me. When purchasing a fellow Ninja's product to help with product launch, I noticed that the items and the customers who bought this item also bought section were mostly other Ninja products. They were obviously not related to the product that was listed. I then noticed this on other Ninja listings. Should we be concerned about this as far as Amazon terms of service? I wouldn't be, right? Because when we're using the black belt group to help each other launch products, we're searching for the keyword that we want to target. We're scrolling through the organic pages to give you the maximum boost, the maximum keyword boost to get you onto page one fastest. You should be doing that simultaneously while you're doing your overarching giveaways, right? So you're using Facebook review groups, maybe you're using JumpSend, maybe you're using any type of giveaway at a larger scale where you're literally just giving 95, 99% off. Simultaneously while you're doing that, you're running your student group giveaways that you can get much more specific keyword rank for and get to page one much faster for, right? So you're doing that kind of at the same time, Irma. Since there's almost 1,300 of us now, and we're not in any of the same geographical locations, we don't have many similarities or connections at all besides me. Amazon, it would be incredibly difficult to prove that people were helping each other on these full priced product sales, right? So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But that being said, I'm not gonna buy you, Irma. You and I should not buy each other's product 5 or 10 times in a row. We should spread it out for different people. You want to be safe with this type of stuff, just because it's never fun having Amazon shut you down or do anything like that. When sending your payment for inspection on PayPal, what is good to put on the notes section so you don't get screwed over? So I actually have an example of this, Shaheen, in the second module. So some cool things to include, right? So let's say you're ordering 500 garlic presses, and I just use this as an example because it's the first thing that comes to my mind, but it could be anything, right? And so let's say you want them to be stainless steel. You want 500. You want it to be the same quality as the sample. You want it to be completed as agreed upon in your purchase order by this date. So I like to just include some really simple stuff, right? So 500, premium quality or same quality as sample stainless steel garlic presses completed by September 28th, 2017, or XYZ will take this much off the total invoice, or whatever the penalty clauses for going over the timeline. But just simple stuff like that. Right, it's not a huge deal. The PayPal note is more so just if you ever do file a goods and services claim for PayPal to read, more so than any type of contractual stuff, because enforcing international law with Chinese suppliers is just not. It's basically cost prohibitive. So it's more so just to kind of establish a feeling of legitimacy, and more importantly to kind of protect yourself as much as you can from a PayPal claims perspective. What's the absolute last day to get your products in before the Q4 lockout, assuming toys and games products? It's too late for toys and games if you have no other sales, Santino. So I posted exactly what it was. I think it was like you have to have 25 sales in a month in your account. You have to have an active account in good standing, and you have to have 25 sales in the toys and games category leading into early this next month. So, if you have no sales and you still haven't shipped anything from China, I would say it's too late to kind of get into the toys and games category unless you already have, some sales in your account. So 5 stars is what viral launch gives you if a product is worth pursuing. I rely on it, and then I do the 999 trick. For this product, the 999 trick doesn't work because the seller has it limited to one per customer. Should I really rely on the viral launch / Jungle Scout estimations if I can't get the 999 method? The answer to that is absolutely not, Edwards. Absolutely not. And I want to repeat this for a second. So one of the main reasons that I even got into the kind of like coaching realm of this is because I saw other gurus out there kind of teaching people, to just rely on Jungle Scout or rely on any software. It doesn't have to be Jungle Scout. Amazon does not release API data as to sales for these, product research aggregators. So Jungle Scout estimates are an estimate, right? Every single thing is an estimate except for the 999 cart trick, right? The Jungle Scout product tracker, and the product tracker has limitations, right? So if they have one max order quantity per customer, you're going to get some loopy data from Jungle Scout. So what I would recommend in this case is if there's any competitors, I track them, right? Do the camel sales chart on this specific listing, and just gather as much information as you can, but never ever just rely on Jungle Scout or any type of software estimations for revenue, because maybe the listing that you're looking at was running a giveaway, right? And so they have 50,000 in revenue in this month because they just sold a ton, or they gave away a ton of products that showed Jungle Scout as being super high revenue, but what you're going to see is that it's actually not the case. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of questions coming in now. All right, guys, we're going to do about 10 more minutes because my voice is literally like failing. When would be a good start? When would be a good time to start if we are not ready for Q4? I'm just starting out and I don't want to rush things, but I'm a bit lost with Amazon lockouts. I mean, a good start always, Corinne, and this is a good question for everyone, right? Not only with Amazon FBA, but with anything entrepreneurially. The best time to start is now. And I know that sounds super cliche, but I truly believe it. If you don't start now, it's so easy to let life just like happen, and maybe you have a deadline for work, maybe you're tired and you're just starting a new diet or a workout plan, or you just got a new boyfriend, or there's always a way that your brain will rationalize procrastination and inaction. And so the best and only time to start and be successful, Corinne and everyone watching, right, is right now. And you don't have to jump in or rush anything or buy like invest $10,000 into a product, but start now, right? And even if that means that you're reading one post from the Black Belt group or you're watching one YouTube video a day, just do something, right? Don't have any 0 days. Do something, one thing a day, and you're going to learn. You're going to start, being successful with it, because all of a sudden you watch one YouTube video and then an hour later you watch 10, right? Or you watched a full long hour and you learned a lot of things that you didn't necessarily know before. So start now. Never ever rush, but never let yourself procrastinate either. If a supplier offers to ship directly to Amazon FBA warehouse, would you consider that a red flag? No, not necessarily, John. I mean, I ship from my suppliers directly to Amazon every single time. So it's not a red flag. But that being said, I always compare what my supplier gives me as a shipping quote with the freight forwarders I share with you guys. So never take, your supplier says, oh yeah, we can handle the shipping for you. It's going to be $1,000 door to door, right? And you say, oh, okay, that's not a bad deal. And you never check with anyone else, but maybe you check with one of my freight forwarders that I share with all of you guys, and they could do it for $500, right? So that's $500 profit that you're missing out on just because you didn't want to send one email comparing. So always compare quotes. Always kind of see what else is out there, because if you only get one quote from one manufacturer or only one quote from one freight forwarder, you have no idea if that's a good deal unless you're getting a bunch of independent quotes. Then you can kind of start to establish an idea of what is a good deal, what's a better deal, what's the best deal. Appreciate the answer, man. Also, if I study the course now and take my time with everything, knowing I won't make it into Q4, what would be the best optimal time to launch a product? Now, I mean, Amazon, yeah, Q4 is crazy, Anthony, no question. It's insane. But Amazon FBA is a huge, huge business all year round, right? And so it goes absolutely bonkers during Q4 for sure. You're right, but you know it's wildly profitable if done correctly the entire year round. So just take your time. Don't worry about Q4. Launch a product once you feel comfortable that it's working, and you're gonna be just fine. Thanks for all the help, Kevin. You the man. You're the man, Daniel. All right, Britt. I recently received a follow-up email from an Amazon seller that included a picture of her and her kids. Not gonna lie, it pulled on my heartstrings and made me engage with the email. What are your thoughts on using personal touch editions such as this? Yes, I mean using our kids if we have them. Yeah, I would definitely do that, Britt. I mean, I've never personally looked into that, so maybe there's some crazy like terms of service thing that says like you can't include pictures of your adorable kids or something. But I would imagine that that's okay. I would check before so, but yeah, definitely. I mean, anything that you can do to catch someone's attention during their busy day is incredible, right? Because people have such busy lives, they're constantly going from stream to stream, right? They have so many advertisements and things constantly bombarding them, all of these different spam emails, right? And then they get home from work, they're exhausted, they open up your email, and they see a picture of you and your beautiful kids, right? And maybe exactly how it happened to you, it engages them. And so yeah, if it happened, this is a beautiful point, right? Because every single day I'm like everyone else, I'm getting bombarded with all of these different advertisements and all of these different things. And I have started to separate myself, take a step back and say, hey, what is actually affecting me? What is getting my attention and why? And then I use that to create, similar type advertisements or products or services or whatever it is to try to appeal to that same thing that caught my attention. All right. What up, Kev? Do you have any additional insight for merch? You gave great info in terms of how to find designs, but what about ranking or launching? Are the tactics used on the FBA side just completely not relevant? So they are relevant, but it's kind of different, Bjorn, right? So sometimes you'll search like a phrase or something and you'll see, a shirt as the #1 listing, but it has like 500 reviews. The problem is, like with Amazon, you ship in 500 units and they exist there, and when you run giveaways, right, it is what it is. But they're print on demand with merch, and so you could, if you wanted to, do a giveaway similarly, ranking for specific keywords for your merch shirt, and you will build organic rank. But the main way that I was profitable with Merch by Amazon, first and foremost, was just organic, right? So if you're super niche, if you're targeting very polar topics like Donald Trump and with like a ridiculous mask on, or maybe he's like a midget or a baby or something that, people feel very strongly about Donald Trump, people feel very strongly one way or the other about a variety of topics. So if you're targeting a niche correctly, you're going to get organic sales. But at the same time, I use Facebook advertising and things like that to drive traffic to merch as well. So there's a lot of different options that you can kind of pursue. Thanks for answering. Excuse me. Thanks for answering my first question. Should we be concerned if a specific niche seems to be dominated by 1 to 3 sellers? For example, different colors or designs, or is this an opportunity to join the market, obviously improving the product? Yeah, so this is a good question, Megan. So the answer to this is you want to be cognizant of why they're dominating the market. So if you see for example, a huge company like maybe it's KitchenAid and they own all of the different toasters or something like that, right? Then maybe you don't want to enter that because they have basically unlimited pockets for giveaways. They have the incumbency, the age, the brand recognition. But if people are not finding the product or the page or the niche that you're looking at specifically by that brand name, right? Because sometimes people search KitchenAid and then you'd have no chance, right? Because they're searching for that specific brand. But if they find that niche, via other more generic keywords, and you see a place that you can improve on that, and they don't own like a patent or a trademark or whatever, then yeah, it's a definite opportunity, and it's definitely something that you'd want to look into. Thanks for the contest today. You the man, bro. Oh, thank you, Bjorn. You're my boy. Should your main keywords be in the title, bullet points, and backend, or should you only have them in the title to create space for the backend? So you only actually need any specific keyword one time. But that being said, Karen, the title has the most weight. So if you have a keyword in your title, it gives you more index, more probability of indexing, more probability of organically ranking for that keyword than if you just put it like in your product description, right? So your most important keywords you want in your title, your bullet points, and then your back-end keywords. What's the weirdest / strangest thing you've ever sold? On Amazon? I sell some really strange stuff, to be honest, John. And since we're streaming on YouTube and Facebook and a bunch of different places, and there's probably a few thousand people watching, I'm probably not going to discuss that. But if you want to send me a private message, I'll tell you all about the strange things that I sell. All right, so we've been on for about an hour, guys. My voice is about to give out. So I think I'll take maybe 1 or 2 questions more, and then I'll leave all of you beautiful ninjas until next time. How can we prepare for the Amazon Australia market and find review groups? Do you know any good approaches to creating a group? There are so few ninjas in Australia. Yeah, so I mean that's a great idea. That's and you're recognizing a need before it exists, DebG, right? And so maybe that's you, and you create the first and best and most authoritative review group in Australia, and then you can monetize it, you can find new product ideas, you can be the admin of it, which is very valuable in ways you might not know yet. But yeah, that we will definitely need review groups in Amazon Australia. Preparing for Amazon Australia is similarly to preparing for any other market, right? So you use your knowledge of the culture, right? Maybe you live in Australia, maybe you live there, maybe you know what's popular, like a round beach towel, or since it's a kind of a beach-centric landscape and demographic, maybe you're focusing more on that niche than maybe winter wear that you'd focus on in Greenland, or so you want to make sure that you understand the demographic, you understand the geography, you understand the culture, you understand kind of how trends happen. Maybe it becomes popular in the USA, and then 3 months later it becomes popular in Australia, right? So I don't know a ton about the Australian market. I've never been there. That's why I'm going there in a month and a few days for the first time, because I want to experience it, right? So that's kind of what you want to do as far as approaching any new market. Use your knowledge, use your personal experience, use the data available with Google Trends and other different services to kind of prepare and figure out what's trending as far as those specific new markets. All right, last question from Karan. What are your thoughts on selling branded products? My family has connection with big wholesale vendors locally. Yeah, so I mean, I know people who are doing millions of dollars in revenue every year or even every month selling wholesale, right? But the problem with wholesale sometimes is that it is a race to the bottom. And what I mean by that, Karan, is that Amazon as a marketplace cares 100% about its customers, and 0% about its sellers, right? And maybe it's not that extreme, but they care about their customers first and foremost. And what what that means in this specific scenario is that they want to give you their customers the absolutely best products for the absolutely cheapest prices. And what that means is that with wholesale, right, when there's no brand recognition, when there's no luxury that you're adding with premium packaging or maybe some design improvements or things like that, with wholesale, it's very much so a race to the bottom where any number of different wholesalers can come onto one listing, and then all of a sudden you're undercutting each other. they're using repricing software to automatically be 1 cent lower than whatever you make your price, and then you're using the same thing, and then all of a sudden you have zero margins, but you did all that work and you learned all the ins and outs of wholesaling, right? Which is why I recommend starting and sticking with private label. It's by far the most profitable niche of Amazon FBA. I always preach this. If you guys ignored everything I said up until right now, just please focus on this one thing. As an entrepreneur, you get good at what you do. And so you want to, yes, I could go out on Craigslist and buy laundry machines and resell them for $20 profit. Absolutely, there's 1,000 ways to make profit and make money out there. No question, right? If you're willing to put the work in. But I want to focus my time on learning what is the most scalable, practical, right? The most important way that I can reach and help the most people, the most Amazon sellers, the most Shopify sellers, the most people out there who are trapped in their 9-to-5 job, right? And they want to get out, but they just don't know how, right? My purpose in life, my passion is reaching as many of those people as possible. So I could focus on all of these other things, but instead, right, I spend a lot of time up front thinking, okay, Facebook, YouTube, email, right? If I can get really good at those 3 things, then I can reach the maximum number of people, and more importantly, I can help the maximum number of people. So I hope that answered your question about Wholesale, Karan. That was really fun, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the kind of contest that we had earlier today. Again, congratulations to Gabe. And for all of my amazing Ninja family members, we will be releasing more information on NinjaCon, the first annual NinjaCon in 2017, where it's going to be in Puerto Vallarta for a Super Bowl party. We're going to have fully catered. It's going to be an amazing network opportunity. There's going to be a ton of top-notch Amazon FBA knowledge and a ton of other stuff, right, with amazing speakers, awesome, networking opportunities in a 4-star hotel for incredibly cheap. So I will keep you guys up to date on that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will definitely see you on the next one.